Bible Museum.
Bible Museum! Oh, I like that one. And scene.
That is a King James first edition.
I see, but it doesn't seem to include the Psalms. I mean, what's going on there? Someone seems to have eaten it. Why is that? Because, I mean, it was robbed, wasn't it?
I don't know, Christopher. That looks like it was ripped from someone's hand. There's still dried blood on the edge. Would you like to hold it?
Yeah, it sounds violent. I love that.
Yes. Do you feel the violence, the blood coming out?
I mostly feel leather. Is that right?
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, it's leather from a cow, right?
Yeah.
Dead cows. Cool. I love dead cow books. Do you have any more like it? Yeah, pretty much everything here comes from a dead person.
A dead person. Is that human skin? I would love to see a human skin Bible.
Oh, yeah. We have those in the far back.
Far back of the warehouse. But
Do I have to travel through a curtain of beads to get there?
Very much so.
I love curtains of beads.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Fantastic. Yeah, just
Can you
lead the
see?
way.
Can you see? Look, this is how we have to keep this away from sunlight because people had the Bible tattooed onto their skin. They wore full-length clothes.
Full-length clothes, and because of their faith, they just started to glow, you know? And that's the light you can see from them, you see what I mean? So that is supposed to be the Holy Spirit. But
Wow, and you can see there the curve on the writing where it was actually tattooed onto someone's shoulder.
as you can see, and you can see dog's pet.
What's the matter?
I said dog's pet. I thought you meant God's pet, but
No, dogs as well. Dogs were tattooed as well.
Dogs too.
Yes, I mean, here we have an ancient bone tattoo that was actually used to tattoo both humans and dogs together.
Humans and dogs.
Yes. Would you like me to demonstrate?
Sure. Were any dog? What were you gonna say?
Were there any dogs hurt in this process?
Absolutely. I mean, Christians believe in injury,
suffering,
but
atonement.
do you want to work here or me? No, seriously,
Come on, smart pants.
well, to be honest, you know, I need a job, really, you know. I'm fed up of just cleaning the floors, you know, in Tesco's.
Well, what's wrong with Tesco's? That's fulfilling work. I mean, you get
Yeah,
some
they give
really
you-
weird people coming in here, I tell you. You're not one of those weird ones, are you?
You?
What do you mean? I want to see the Mr. Men Bible. I hear you have the only copy left.
Ah, that's what you've come here for.
Please.
No one is allowed to see it. No one.
Honestly, it's cursed.
Okay.
Do you understand what it is like to try and explain Jesus Christ's crucifixion through Mr. Men?
Yeah, I've struggled with it. I'm Jewish, so I didn't understand.
Yeah, this abomination is locked behind a thick safe, which is never opened.
Have you heard of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets?
Yes.
It's
Is
much
it-
like that.
Oh, okay. I just thought that maybe there was a secret code in that for a Bible.
There might be. I've never read it. I haven't read most of these books here, and they're all the same book, really.
Yeah, I think. You know, it might drive you crazy.
It could. Now, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Okay? I know this is a museum, but are you going to buy anything or what? Oh, what's for sale?
Well,
Everything you see here is free. Everything you see here. Now wait! Remember I mentioned the curse earlier.
I don't care.
Bring the curses on.
Okay, girls, so here's how it's gonna go. Basically, you guys are like puppet masters, and they're your puppets. But try not to like treat them gently, you know, like your prize puppets. Like try not to break them. Not that I think you guys are aggressive in any way, shape, or form. Not that you can't be aggressive, but I just want you to know that I'm not. Everything is gonna be fine. So here's how it goes. Alex, if you wouldn't mind. For instance, they move only when you guys move them. If you want to move an arm, you can lift up an arm, you can bend them over a bit, give them just a gentle, you know, just general direction of where you want them to go. You want to move a head, just carefully turn it in either direction. Move their legs, tap, tap. Move it back, tap, tap. Make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, can I have, you know what, I'm going to get 2 things for these guys. Can I have a relationship for them?
Consensual.
Brothers.
Consensual brothers. And a non-geographic location for this scene to take place.
Bedroom.
In a bedroom. Hey, it could be any bedroom. Any whatsoever. Consensual brothers in a bedroom.
Nice bedroom.
Take it away.
Jeffrey,
Yes, Simon.
I haven't seen you in years. There you are.
I forget what you look like. Oh God, you're so tall.
I know. I grew in years apart.
Oh God, I can't look at you.
Look at me.
No.
I've missed you. Being my. I can't look. I want.
Oh my God.
You raised me up, my brother.
No. I hate you so
Jeffrey.
much.
Why did you hate me, Jeffrey?
Because of what you did.
I know. I shouldn't have stolen your Lego toy.
I love the Lego toy.
I know you did, but I've got it with me. It's in my back pocket. In my back pocket.
Can I have
I want to use my own hand. Look at it.
Where is it?
Here it is.
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
I know. It's a tiny back pocket, but I can fit it in. Take it.
I will. I'm going to take it. Thank you.
I've got something in my drawer for you. I'm going to turn around and get it out of my drawer. I'm going to turn around. Which drawer? The drawer behind me. The drawer I'm going to get.
Are you?
Behind me. I'm going to move my legs.
How am I getting it for you?
Move my legs. I've missed you, brother.
Mine! I've got it.
Have you?
Silly putty.
It's silly putty. It's the puttiest of all silliness.
Oh my God, I love to eat it.
Jeffrey, no, Jeffrey, don't. Don't eat it, Jeffrey. I'm gonna have to get the first aid kit.
No!
I'm gonna run and get it.
Oh,
I'm gonna run and get it.
Go over
I'm
here.
gonna run and get it. Run.
Look at you go.
Run.
Oh, you've always
Run
had
with
that.
my legs.
Oh my God, you've always had. Oh, why am I going so fast?
I've got a leg problem. It's not gonna lie.
I'll get the first aid kit then. Oh, any second, I'm going to open this drawer.
There's something I need to tell you.
What?
You couldn't hear it as well if you want. I'm leaving.
What?
Look at me leave.
Don't go. It's only just.
Run. I'm gonna run with my bag.
Please, you can have the silly putty.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
I've eaten some of it.
Well, how much are we in? Okay.
Half. Taste it.
Okay.
It's consensual, it's fine.
I'm gonna let it go.
Oh, brother.
Your breath smells nice.
Thank you. I have smins.
I hope no one comes in.
I hope no one's filming this.
Not like last time.
No, I can't.
I don't want to leave you.
I can't stand up straight.
I don't want to leave you, but I must.
Really?
I must leave him. Oh, take your hat. Yes.
No.
Look at your hat hair.
No!
Look at your hat
Don't
hair.
look at my hat hair. Wait. Please. You're so tender.
I'm going to run now. I'm just going to run away.
I don't know.
Let's see! All right, presentation. Weiju,
Yes.
our professor, I left college early. Our professor and chief expert in. Can I have a topic of scientific nature that our professor here can be the head of?
Earplug design.
The professor of earplug design, of course. Of course. Would you like to take it away?
I will do.
And describe to us the slides that are about to come before us.
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming tonight and listening to my little talk on earplug design. Obviously, earplug design is an incredibly complicated topic. You've got different dynamics, the sound, the materials, and I just brought a few slides to illustrate the sort of work that I do, starting with this. So as you can see, this is what happens when earplug design goes wrong. This person is obviously trying to sleep, but is surrounded by noise. Surrounded completely. Visualizing this, obviously you can't normally see noise, but this is what noise would look like if you could see it. And our poor person here just can't get any peace. And obviously in the corner, someone else is being driven mad by this noise as well. They're about to shoot themselves, and this is a tragedy that we just can't have. This is why our job is so important, to make good earplugs for everyone, so that everyone can enjoy the peace and tranquility that comes with not listening to other people. And there are many ways of designing a good earplug, one of which is displayed in my next slide. So this is pretty much, this is what you'd call trial and error. I mean, here is the material that we try and use. This is a good plastic that we have, and it resists compression. It compresses just the right amount. So we're testing it like this, and we want to see that it actually compresses about 15 to 20%, which is what you want. You don't want it to be too hard, you don't want it to be too soft. Here we see the technicians, obviously paying a great amount of attention to the machine and to the results. They're highly trained, and they have everything absolutely under control. And obviously over here we have the big boss. He is here to make sure that everything goes according to plan, nothing goes wrong, and that we end up with brilliant earplugs for everyone. So earplugs, we can't live without them, and it is my job to make sure that we can sell them to you, and that is itself an important job. The marketing of a scientific product is something that is often not spoken about, and this is my last slide to demonstrate my particular way of selling earplugs. And as you can see, we have a beautiful formation. Right at the bottom, we have the beginnings of the earplug, the raw materials, and we build up this beautiful layered structure to represent the internal structure of the earplugs. And just the fact that it's blocking out this sound, this sound that we're visualizing here is being blocked out by this earplug. And hopefully, people will look at that and they'll go, yes, this is exactly what earplugs should do. And this is how we make the world a better place. So, thank you very much for listening to my presentation.
Can we get a location test as well? Can we get a non-geographic location if possible? Hospital. Hospital? I'll take that. Hospital. Ready? Okay. Ooh! Is it serious?
Yes. It's very serious indeed. I'm afraid your wife,
Yeah.
she doesn't love you anymore.
She only came in because her heart was a bit aflutter.
Yeah, that was the flutter.
Oh my god. She was my everything.
Yes. Well, There's not much we can do, except give her a new heart.
Do you work here?
Yes. What do you think?
You're a bit chilled
Bit
out.
what?
A bit chilled out.
Yeah.
Is this what happens when I go boomer?
This is private healthcare, bitch.
Oh God! but you're so direct.
I'm direct. You know why I'm direct?
Why?
Because there's no NHS direct anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
I miss those days. What is your nurse doing?
Don't you know I'm putting things away?
You're just putting things away.
Yes, I'm putting things away.
Can I help?
Okay, you put those things, you take it from there, you put it over there, okay? Like this, you go. Take it over from there, you put it over there, easy, okay?
Yeah.
Lovely job.
You're very good at this, you know.
I know, I trained for many years.
Yes, you're good at it too.
So,
You never show me affection, doctor.
No.
I'm just a lonely man.
I'm not paid to show emotion.
I know you're private.
Yes, I am.
Oh, your chair's so comfy.
Of course, it's private.
My God. No, we don't have these back home.
Well, where is that? Exactly.
Mexico.
can I talk about my wife?
Oh, your wife is dying as well. by the way.
She's
Basically, her heart is all fluttering and it's gonna pop out.
Yes, that's true.
I saw it on the scan.
Yes. Would you like to get the scan? I'll get the scan.
I'll keep your chair comfy.
Should I sit down for this?
Yeah, you probably should.
Here it is.
Look, you see, that's where her heart's popping out.
Oh my God!
And as we all know, love is kept in the heart. That's a scientific fact.
Not in her heart though, because it's popped out.
Yes.
Could you not just pop it back in?
Pop it back in? What do you think? What do you think? That we're some kind of
Booper?
Oh, you're so tall.
what?
What? My thick accent.
Yes. I forgot we hired you. to be
Doc,
honest.
I'll do anything. If you know what I mean.
I think I know what you mean.
I'll pay any kind of money.
Yes, please, we need money. We're a hospital.
This was private.
Still a hospital. Still runs on money.
You have money?
Sure.
Hey, she, you, what?
I have a name.
Yes, it's what's your name?
Stefanio.
Sorry. Stefanio.
Stefanio.
That's what I said.
So I always had you thought that was more of a Stephanie. Never mind.
You know, so did I, but my father, he wanted the Stefanio. And I was gladly picking Stefanio.
Yes.
He's a sheep farmer. He's dead now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Can I get a cup of tea or something?
Cup of tea, yes you can. Yes, because this is Boop. Boop, you can have all the tea you want because you've already paid
Do
for
you want a
it.
green tea, a peppermint tea, a lemon and ginger tea, an archaea berry tea? Do you want black tea? Do you want white tea? Do you want it with almond milk, soya milk, coconut milk, real milk, full milk, half milk? Do you want it with water? Do you want it with hot water? Do you want iced tea? Do you want coffee? Do you want black coffee? Do you want iced coffee? Do you want a cappuccino, a latte, a frappuccino? Or do you want a juice?
Capri Sun?
Would you like orange Capri Sun, then a lime Capri Sun, mango Capri Sun, or one with pulp?
Pulp.
Do you want lots of pulp, not much pulp, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both.
Or do you want lots of lumpy pulp or not much lumpy pulp?
Keep going.
That's all the pulp we've got. Lumpy or not very lumpy.
Yes.
And then don't get me started on the snack drawer.
We can see we look after you very well here at...
But not my wife!
See? Without further ado, I'm going to welcome our wonderful guest speaker, Georgios Giasemidis. Did I And we're gonna have no, you're still here. You're still here. We're gonna have a wonderful talk. Quantum gravity. Again, I nailed it, didn't I? Yes. And straight from that, that's going to be our inspiration for our long-form set for the second half of the show. So basically, we're going to have an awesome talk. We're all going to take it in and learn some great things. And that's what our crew is going to use as the inspiration for our set. Woo!
Are you excited?
Yes!
Alright, this is Woodstock for me, guys. I've talked to conferences with just a few people, so this is really Woodstock. So thank you for being here. I'm Georgios, and I'm going to talk about quantum gravity, how actually it affects the dimensions of the universe. So this is not a cheat sheet, this is space-time. I'm going to demonstrate.
Cool.
Right, space-time. So before we start, some easy questions. Do you know how many dimensions there are in the universe?
5. 13.
4.
It's arguable.
11.
I'll take this. There are four dimensions. There are 3 space and 1 time. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So this is quantum gravity is easy, isn't it? All right. So there are 4 dimensions. And how many of you have heard the word quantum before? Quantum physics?
Yes.
So almost all of you. Never mind. We'll introduce quantum physics in case. So let's start with the easy bit. Gravity. You're very familiar with gravity. We experience gravity in our everyday life, constantly, daily. We're experiencing gravity right here, right now. I'm standing here in front of you because of gravity. You're sitting on the chairs because of gravity. You don't jump off the window because we know the effects of gravity, right? So, in formal terms, gravity is an attractive force between two bodies with mass that pull each other together. That's in formal terms. Okay, thanks for the excitement. So you want me to talk formally, right? All right, let me write some questions down. The first theory of gravitation was introduced by Isaac Newton in the 17th century. This doesn't mean that before Newton people could fly or could float, right? Just Newton introduced a mathematical model that describes the phenomenon, right? The phenomenon existed before Newton. And sorry for stating the obvious, but I've seen comments on the internet saying, okay, so Newton discovered gravity, so then before Newton, people could fly, and then hashtag flat Earth. Okay. So I've seen these comments, so that's why I'm stating the obvious. So the legend says that Newton came up with this idea, the idea of gravitational force, while he was lying under an apple tree, and then an apple fell on his head, and then he came up with this attractive idea. So. Attractive idea, yes, the idea of an attractive force. So he wondered why the apple fell down, went downwards and didn't go upwards, and that's why he introduced his theory of gravitation. So just to make things clear, I've tried this method of throwing stuff to my head to come up with brilliant ideas, but it hasn't worked for me, so don't try that at home. Didn't work. So there are two important things we need to remember about Newton's gravity. The first is that time is absolute, time is static, time doesn't interact with anything. So it's like a carpet where all the other gravitational interactions happen on this static carpet. So time ticks constantly at the same rate. Is that right?
Yeah.
The second important thing is that Newton's gravity explained the astrophysical observations of that time quite accurately, very well. And that means that explained how the planets of our solar system move around the sun. It was quite accurate explaining these observations, but Newton's gravity fails to explain the motion of bodies in a larger scale, which means cannot explain how galaxies interact. So objects the size bigger than the planets in our solar system, how galaxies interact, how galaxies evolved, how the universe itself evolved. So cannot explain this kind of observations. So it took scientists about 2 to 3 centuries to come up with better theories until Albert Einstein introduced his general theory of relativity, which was actually a revolution for physics because in general relativity space, time and matter interact, and this gives us gravity. So gravity is an interaction between space, time, which is space-time, which is the geometry of our universe, and ordinary matter. So you can imagine actually this as the fabric of space-time. So if you put a very massive object, this bends the fabric of space-time. All right, so you can imagine here a massive object, and this creates the phenomenon of gravity. So gravity is a interaction between space, time, and matter. Several important things to remember about general relativity. First of all, now time is not constant anymore; it's dynamic. Time is one of the dimensions, and that means that time ticks at different rates at different locations. So when you're very close to a very massive star or near a black hole, then that's a huge gravitational field. That means the time slows down. If you see the movie Gravity, this is demonstrated there. So time slows down considerably in comparison to the time on Earth. The second thing, as I said, time is one of the dimensions. So there are 3 space now and 1 time. So there are 4 dimensions in Newton's gravity, in general relativity, Einstein's gravity. And a third point, very important, is that general relativity is a very, very accurate and precise theory. It has been tested several times, different occasions, and has proven correct, has passed all the tests. So it explains how galaxies interact, how galaxies evolve, how the universe itself evolved. It explains the motions of the planet with great accuracy. It predicted gravitational waves 100 years ago, and we detected gravitational waves 2 years ago. This is awesome, isn't it? So gravitational waves, when this bends, this like when you drop a stone on water, then this creates ripples in water. Similarly, when you have 2 very massive bodies interacting, this creates ripples of space-time. And we detected that 2 years ago. This is pretty awesome. One real-world application of general relativity is the GPS system, where we all use to navigate from one place to the other. So GPS is so accurate, below a meter accurate, because it uses corrections from general, special and general relativity. If you didn't use these corrections, then it would be miles off. So you couldn't be able to navigate. So that's a real world application. So we're done with gravity, is that right? Are you gravity experts now? So gravity behaves gravity explains the large-scale structure of the universe. Now let's dip into quantum physics. Quantum is a mathematical model we have that describes nature at very tiny, very small scales, what we call subatomic scales. The subatomic scales are distances millions of times smaller than a human hair. We're talking about really, really tiny things. Subatomic means scales smaller than an atom. Are you familiar with the term atom?
Yes.
All right. All matter is composed of atoms, right? Why you shouldn't trust an atom? Exactly, they make up everything. I thought it would be an awkward moment here. So yeah. So because things are so small down there, things get really weird. So we have this very weird theory of quantum mechanics that creates so many paradoxes. One of them is Schrödinger's cat, and not Schrödinger's hat. Right, it's Schrödinger's hat. It's a cute subject, so I'll leave it. So in just one sentence, quantum mechanics describes how subatomic particles like the electron, the photon, and so on interact with each other. In other words, describes the small-scale structure of the universe. Two real-world applications of quantum mechanics is the MRI scanners that we use at the hospital to scan inside our bodies, and the very powerful modern lasers we have. They use ideas from quantum principles from quantum mechanics. All right?
Yes.
So you might wonder right now, okay, we have general relativity on one hand that describes the large-scale structure of the universe. On the other hand, we've got quantum mechanics that describes the small-scale structure of nature. So why do we need to bring those together? They can live happily apart, right? So there are several pieces of evidence that and arguments in favor of a connection, of a link between them. I'm going to state only one, and this is black holes. Do you know? You more or less know black holes are regions of space-time. They're so dense and so curved that even light cannot escape from it. That's why light cannot cannot escape. Therefore, we cannot see it. Therefore, it's black and a hole in the sky. Yeah, we're black holes. So, fun fact: when I was a little kid, I was really fascinated about black holes. I was reading Stephen Hawking's The Brief History of Time, and I was really fascinated. So I went to my physics teacher and I asked him lots of questions about black holes. So his response was that. He said, okay, George, I don't know much about astrophysical black holes, but hey, kid, I know a lot about other kinds of black holes. So this is a true story, right? And that's why I got into physics and into black holes.
Because he couldn't answer your question.
Yes, exactly. Because I mean he created more questions. I mean, more or less, I understood about the astrophysical black holes, and then there were another area of other black holes that I didn't know about, and I had to explore, all right? By grabbing people out. That was not in my school. All right, so, okay, black holes. So they're dense regions of space-time. So space-time is gravity, okay, from the first part. Gravity is space-time. And they're so dense and so curved in a very small region. So we need to understand space-time in the very tiny region. And what describes nature at tiny scales? Quantum. So we need to understand space-time at the very small scales. Therefore, we need to understand space-time at the quantum scales. That's why we need to bring those together to understand what happens inside an astrophysical black hole. I have answered the other questions. What happens inside other black holes in my life? So we don't know yet. We need to understand what happens inside an astrophysical black hole. So that's why we need quantum gravity. So you might ask, all right, then, okay, why you haven't developed any theory? The answer is we have developed many theories of quantum gravity. There are actually too many theories of quantum gravity. And then you might ask, okay, what's the problem then? So you've solved it, you have too many theories.
1, 2, 3.
And now I'm about to say why this is a problem. So we have too many theories, but the problem is that this is science, this is physics. This is not like religion that we have too many gods and for some reason all of them are true. Alright? So we don't need so many theories, we need just one theory or a family of theories. And for this reason we need experimental data, we need observations, we need evidence that can point in favor to one theory and we can discard the others. But we don't have such observations, so we don't have experimental data. So you might ask, so why don't you just build an experiment and why don't you perform experiments? That's a tricky question because, as I said, quantum gravity becomes important, apparent in regions of space-time like inside the black hole or at the very beginning of the universe. So we cannot recreate these conditions on Earth, not even with the most powerful accelerator at CERN. This is, I mean, just scales of the energy that we need to recreate these conditions that in order to test quantum gravity. So we don't have data, we have too many theories, and this is not the end of the talk because I'm going to explain the two popular theories and how they affect the dimensions of the universe. So one very popular theory of quantum gravity, and you definitely have heard it, is string theory. Woo! Yeah. Woo! Excitement in the audience, yeah.
My favourite one.
So I have a question actually with you, the string theory, but later. So this is a very beautiful idea. It's the idea that particles, like the electron and photon, are not points, but they're made of strings. No dirty minds, thanks. Are made of strings, and actually particles are vibrations, different vibrations of a string, like a note, and that different notes are different vibrations of a guitar string. So it's a very beautiful idea. But it comes at a cost, and the cost is that string theory requires 10 or 11 dimensions. It requires that the universe has 10 dimensions. So you make.
I said 11 earlier.
But this is a model. This is theory. This is not. As I asked about the dimensions of the universe. You might be wrong in 100 years. That we
right now.
Right now. years advance for the time. Yeah. Maybe you're a time traveler. I don't know.
No.
That's what they all say.
Wouldn't give it away. Give a love to your mother.
All right. So string theory is just different points or particles and different vibrations of strings. And it requires 10 dimensions. So you might ask, where are the remaining 6 or 7 dimensions? And the answer is they're so tiny, so small that we cannot actually observe them. So there's an analog for this. So if you observe a string of cloth from a very long distance, you see it as one line, right? But if you approach this string of cloth and you inspect it from a very close distance, then you will realize that it has there are 3 dimensions there, not just one. So it's the same analog. So from a very long distance, you don't see the extra dimensions because they're very small compared to your distance. So it's the same analog. That's why we don't observe the extra dimensions. So a very beautiful theory. If you want to know more about string theory, please Google. There's many math material there. But please don't Google string models, especially when in the office. And your supervisor is just behind you. Please Google string theory models. This is another true story. This has happened. So, string theory models. Or if you Google whatever you want to Google and your wife or partner helps you, then you can say, oh, apparently I was looking for string theory. so that's an alternative. So string theory has extra dimensions. Another approach to quantum gravity is what we call lattice model. So in physics, Ooh, not excitement.
That's his face.
Good. Alright.
We fight all the
We
time.
fight all the
That's
time.
it.
Yeah.
Don't fight, guys. Yeah. So in physics, it's a common practice when we want to solve a very complicated problem. We just try to approach a simple model by discretizing it, by cutting it into pieces. So we do the same with space-time. We take the continuum space-time and we just cut it into pieces. We study the discrete problem, we fill it with triangles, and we see how this behaves. So there is a team in the Netherlands that did computer simulations using this approach, and they started with a random sample of triangles, and they found that these triangles just make themselves so that in a very large scale, in cosmological scales, they recreate the universe, a four-dimensional universe as we observe it. But in computer simulations, they also found that when then they go to a simulated quantum scale, very short distances, these triangles assemble themselves so that they become a fractal, which has dimension 2. So there is a reduction in dimension now from 4 in the cosmological scales down to 2 in the quantum scale. So that's a different behavior. So there's more evidence that supports this behavior from other theories of quantum gravity that have some similarities. During my PhD, I tried to make a mathematical model that explains these simulations, this reduction of the dimension from 4 at the large scales, the cosmological scales, down to 2 at the quantum scales. So these are two popular approaches. As I said, this is physics, this is science, this is not religion. So we don't have an absolute answer right now. So the universe of the quantum scale could be 2-dimensional, a fractal, or could have extra dimensions, could be 11-dimensional, 10, yeah, and then you would be right. And the Nobel Prize will be given to Wheaton, the great physicist that introduced the idea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Unless you are Wheaton.
Back in time.
You're Wheaton. Okay, I see. So it's until then, which will be in quite a few centuries in the future. It's just personal taste how you prefer your quantum gravity. Do you prefer it fractal, 2-dimensional, or with extra dimensions? Thank you. Later on.
I was drawing fractals.
That one was wrong.
It's supposed to continue on in its dimension.
Recurring.
You know, we should really get back to cleaning this damn university. It's getting so dirty without us sweeping everywhere. Let me just finish this, Will.
Okay, cool.
That'll show those math students. Those fascist math students.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. This is a good apple.
Is it? All these kids out here from Southie, they don't understand what we can do. You know?
No, watch this, look. Gravity. Yeah.
How do you like them apples?
I don't know. Well, actually, why not? Actually, I mean, I'm not a monster.
But seriously, what do you think of these college nerds?
they're all nerds in the college.
Look at that one.
Nerd!
No, whoa.
Oh, sorry.
We still work here.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Yeah. Sorry, Professor.
He's not a professor.
He's new.
Alright.
Look, I just want to show you what I'm capable of, okay?
Go on, do it.
Okay. See, a fractal
Yeah.
it's a never-ending pattern, right? And there's a beauty to it, in that you can usually get chicks to bang you if you draw them for them.
Well, hang on a second. You have me at pattern and then chicks bang.
Yeah, so basically what I've done here is I've created a series, it's like a ripple effect. I call it the nipple effect.
Jonathan, would you shut the door?
Oh, sorry, sir.
Do you know why I've called you in here?
Is it about my black hole theory?
Well, that might be an explanation. It's your internet usage in the office.
Yes, Professor. I see.
I mean, Deirdre from accounts made a complaint.
I'm mortified. I'm absolutely mortified. I couldn't apologize more. It was completely accidental. Honest.
Fun fact, Jonathan. Interacting with your colleagues in the workplace is, mutual respect. You don't search for those things in the office when people are watching.
But it was string theory. I meant to say string theory. I didn't expect half-naked women to pop up.
Well, neither did Deirdre. I'm afraid I had to send her home for the afternoon, and she's lodged a formal complaint via email.
What can I do to make it up, sir?
Well, I'm not really sure. I don't know whether she's very religious. This sort of thing, it's bad enough if someone shows an ankle in the office. Her gods are very angry, apparently.
Are they all true?
Some of them are, apparently.
Okay.
She believes it to be.
Yes. Well, it won't happen again, sir. I'm sure that I'll be much more careful about what I type into Google, and I'd suggest, as a professor, that we instigate a more restrictive IT policy.
Fun fact, Jonathan. A formal complaint has been made, so it has to go on your record. I'm afraid you have to consider this to be a first warning.
I understand, sir.
Any slips on the keyboard, if you know what I mean?
I understand. It will not happen again. You can count on me on that.
I would steer clear of Deirdre when she comes back.
Yeah.
So, if you like to have a look at the board, you will see black holes, and then to the left you will see a brown hole, and then to the left of that you will see a white hole. Okay, you getting all this, Trevor?
Right.
Black hole, brown hole, white hole.
Right, sir. Okay. Now, what can I do with these? I just need to,
You can't do anything with them.
No?
Well, that one sucks in all the light.
Right. Okay.
That one
So
sucks.
So I cannot do anything with that. That's dangerous.
Well, you can do something with it. You'd be sucked into it and die. Probably crushed, or maybe go into an alternative universe, according to some sci-fi popular TV program.
No, that must be true, though.
It's on TV, it must be true.
Well, they are just teaching. It's just a third lecturer, in the room.
Are you saying a TV can replace Mr. Kevin?
Well, he sleeps all the time anyway.
He's got a condition, narcoleptic. See? Yes. He randomly sleeps. So right, you got your black hole, death.
Okay.
You got your brown hole, dirty. White hole, squeaky clean.
Right, okay, so the brown hole is dirty, is it? Right, okay, so why is it dirty?
Well, that is what you have to figure out. You have to figure out why is a brown hole, a brown hole dirty?
Can it suck everything else in it?
Maybe.
Right, okay. Right, yeah. This is really interesting stuff.
I know, I wrote it.
Oh, you mean this is your theory?
This is my theory. It's the black, brown, white theory.
Black, brown, white theory, right?
Yes.
So
Comes off the tongue, I think.
are you trying to tell me that you didn't see this on TV?
Would you see this on TV?
I do not believe it.
What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say my black hole, white hole theory is not real?
The black, brown, white hole theory seems, in fact, too much of a fake, if you don't mind me saying so.
It's not a fake.
Joseph.
I've seen it. I've seen a white hole. It's beautiful. Happiness was in that hole.
You're right.
No, I'm not alright. I'm getting emotional.
What happened? What happened? Joseph. We'll find out what happens later.
A white hole?
White. This professor's a kook.
Oh my god.
White hole, and then he says there's the brown hole, and then we got the black hole.
Well, I kind of agree with the black hole.
Yeah, how's that?
Well, it's like a massive Henry Hoover.
What do you mean?
Well, you know how a Henry Hoover, you know, cleans up all the mess and stuff. That's what a black hole does. Its version of dirt is stars and light.
Right. So a black hole creates a vacuum.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
See, these kids, you know, the posh tweed coats and
the patches.
And the patches.
Yeah.
That was a professor, I think. But, you know, they come to this school and they think they're learning something.
Yeah.
Professor Dickweed tells them there's a white hole, a black hole, and a brown hole. When really, we're the ones who are doing all the research. Yeah? Now, remember that lattice theory I was telling you about?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
that story you made up. Yeah.
Right. Well, so I popped it into this search bar, right? LETTUCE. And it turns out it's just a bunch of green leaves. I mean, I looked deep into it, and I think that there's a fractal that appears, which I get. But I don't understand how it fits into this theory, this quantum theory.
The white hole.
Yeah.
If you put that stuff on that, it looks like a pie.
It does. It does. But will that ultimately make girls like us?
Well, we can try it.
Alright.
Shut the door, Jonathan.
Sir!
I'll shut it. Caught in the act.
I was Googling black holes!
Deirdre said brown holes. She saw what came up when you searched for brown holes. She's emailed me another complaint, Jonathan.
Professor Dickweed, I am only trying to do my job.
Googling is part of your privilege in this university. It's not a right. You've abused the facilities of this establishment.
I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't have control over what Google serves up. I am trying to do serious scientific work here.
Why are you searching for brown holes?
There's a theory. There's a theory going around the campus about black hole, brown holes, and white holes. It's very exciting. We need to find out more.
I've not heard anything about this.
It's
Is this a skunkworks research project?
No.
Fun fact! I control the budget of this university. Anyone who's abusing the money of this place is in deep trouble.
I'm sure they are, but this is serious science, sir. We are on a real cusp of a breakthrough here. We just need to prove it.
Show me what you're looking at.
Right. Here, look. It's Andrew Smith's theory. It's wonderful. I'm just enthralled. It's answered so many questions, but we don't have any evidence for it. Currently it's just another theory of quantum gravity.
Oh my goodness me! This is what Daphne must have seen. Maybe I shouldn't have typed Andrew Smithers' brown hole on there.
Oh, let's get in the mood. Thinking mood. Yeah.
Is this about the letters on the white hole?
How did you know? It's
You have been writing it in your diary and leaving it all over the place. I mean, everyone knows in this university.
Everyone knows
Everyone is talking about it.
about how I lost her 3 years ago.
Philippa.
My one-two love. She was a research assistant
But
while I was studying for my PhD.
I mean, she was really,
Beautiful
enthusiastic.
and enthusiastic, yeah.
And she disappeared.
Yeah,
And I wondered what happened to her, I mean, I thought you might have just taken her away somewhere. Couldn't even talk, unfortunately.
I know, you're tongue-tied.
Yes.
I wanted to take her away, but she disappeared. Never to be seen again.
And I wondered what happened to her.
So do I. She disappeared. I don't know where she went. You have no idea how traumatic that was. Traumatic and traumatic.
Are you traumatic because you're so emotional?
My vows get mixed up when I spat.
and it's when you spat about it's about Philippa, isn't it?
Flappy, yeah. God, how am I going to have her?
And I've always thought about her, and when
What?
when I
You thought about her? When?
She always comes and speaks to me. Well, she used to.
What are you trying to say?
She had many friends.
Friends or friends?
Philippa.
Call her by her name, Philippa.
I miss her as well.
Okay, hold on. What do you mean you miss her?
She doesn't only like lettuce. She doesn't only like this.
Move over there. Oh, I have a look at you. The man who stole her. I know about you.
I thought you stole her.
From who?
The instruments are going wild. I think there's only one real explanation for it.
What would that be?
There's a tear in the space-time continuum.
Oh, is that right?
Something's leaking through from one of the other 11 dimensions.
No, I'm sorry, that was...
Boom! Did you hear that?
Yeah, it sounded like an asshole. So.
3 whole years I've been wandering around. He spends years looking through white holes, brown holes, doesn't think to look in a black hole.
I like it here.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's nice.
You didn't have 2 men fighting over you, both of whom aren't even looking for you. The most obvious of places.
No, I was just a space prince.
You were...
I've told you my story before. My dad was my arch enemy.
Look,
I'm
I
your
know, but
father,
after-
yada yada yada.
But after 3 years here, it's all like, God, tell me the story one more time.
Okay, well, I met these robots. Hello, I'm C3PO. And I know. That kind of thing happened.
Every time you tell it, it gets more embarrassing. Can you just do it one more time?
I'll do what happened before I was called out. I'm so rude! You know, the racist one.
Yeah, everybody hated him.
Yeah, we didn't like him.
Couldn't stand him.
It tasted delicious though.
Really? Wow, that part of the story I hadn't heard before.
That's on the limited edition uncut for 51st time, which means more Blu-rays anyway.
Look, I mean, not much to do around here. It doesn't look like anybody's coming looking for us. Well, me, because sure as hell not looking
I
for
know,
you.
there'll be someone, like a Last Jedi. No, there won't.
I'm sorry, I've been trapped here. I haven't seen that one.
Oh, goodness. Nor have I, apparently.
Yes, we've done it! We finally disproved string theory.
Okay, cool.
I can't believe it! This space tear is giving us great data.
Oh, but I should write it down.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Assistant.
So, we can show that x can't be equal to z, and therefore there can't be 11 dimensions.
No.
Why can't I get a Nobel Prize for this?
Sir, why can't x be equal to z?
We've had this amazing data coming out from the space here, and that indicates that there are actually 15 dimensions. So this is completely just.
Sir, what are all 15 dimensions? Can you name them for me?
Absolutely. We have the length, we have the girth, we have the depth, we have time, we have the dimension you can see when you look very far away at a clothesline. We have the blades of grass. We have the flowers that are growing up from the ground. We have this great wall here. We have the roof, the sky over us. We have the black hole. We have the brown hole. We have the white hole. We have the force. We have darkness.
Oh.
Very dangerous one.
Darkness.
Yes. And finally, we have sex.
What about charisma?
Charisma?
So I said, yo baby, check out this fractal, and I opened it up and I showed them the fractal.
Hang on. What happened after that? Hang on a second.
Thanks, yeah, I just can't handle that rap music.
Yeah, not tonight.
I definitely wasn't gonna rap.
Yeah, it was about
That would have been crazy.
But what happened after the...
She splashed her drink in my face and then she walked away.
That counts.
What? I got wet!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Hang on a second, so it's 0 for 808. We're doing well, man.
Thanks, you know, I'm working on what Professor Dickweed was talking about, right? The black hole, white hole, brown hole lines, they didn't work.
Right.
So I thought I'd go into fractals. Then I tried quantum nipple. That didn't work either. Yeah.
No.
So I don't know, what's next? Because I can't just keep getting splashed in the face.
They have turned around and said string theory is the right way of looking at things.
Okay, string theory. So I gotta get him with a net?
Well, no. This is string theory. If you keep going.
So I have to tie him
someone
up.
is bound to say yes.
Are you Andrew Smithers?
Apparently, yeah.
I understand you've been using some of my department's budget on your research project.
I have indeed. A great research project that is.
Fun fact.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
Go ahead. If it doesn't get on my desk, it is not an official project.
Yeah.
Is that what your secretary said? Oh, no, joking, never mind.
Don't you talk about Daphne like that. She's been through a lot lately.
I know she has, but I shouldn't have said. I
am going
that.
to take your. Please scribe for me. This is I'm here on an important mission. I understand there's been a tear in the space-time continuum in the canteen.
Ah, yeah, about that.
Well,
I should have raised that with maintenance, shouldn't I?
I would like you to show me how it works.
How the tear works?
How to utilize it. We could use it as a research project for more funding.
Yeah, we could do.
Alright.
Just stretching.
Yeah,
Just stretching.
Can you teach me how to stretch like that?
Sure, just flat. Just flat, mate. Just flat.
Oh, I don't.
It's advanced yoga.
Oh.
No, you gotta loosen up. You gotta loosen up like you're a piece of string.
Oh, okay. Think string.
Think string.
Think string. Oh.
Yeah?
I don't know. I feel as if I'm caged in. Like, as if there are not enough dimensions.
I need to break free. Just
Let me!
my God, did you hear that?
Was that the voice of God?
I have an idea.
Do tell.
Yes.
Another one.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, I need to find out where Philip is.
He's been trying to find out where Philip is for 10 years. Yeah, go on.
Just let it go, sunshine.
I want to build a time machine.
He wants to build a time machine.
I need some help.
Well, psychiatric help, I think, mate.
Well, there are always people who will help.
How do you expect to build a time machine? Yeah?
What do you know? Time machine.
Can you believe that? Okay. The postbox. No.
I've had a bit of spare time.
Does it actually work?
Yeah, I made it yesterday.
You did make it yesterday.
Could you demonstrate it for us?
Yeah, just go in.
No, you demonstrate it for us.
Do I look like a Canadian?
Do you wanna...
Hey, this is Roger's mission. You should be going in. Yeah?
I will take this. Okay. This is only for Philip.
Yeah, it's fine. What we'll do, get you in. Come on. Okay, just turn around, have your back there. You type in the year you want to go to. Press the flux capacitor. Because when this baby hits 88,
I don't know what's going to happen.
ready? 1 to 3.
Has he signed a waiver yet?
Yeah, just wave anyway, it's fine. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go!
Cut to last time you saw Philippa.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Join in at any time.
Here you go.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you. I know you don't like letters.
I hate lettuce. I'm not a rabbit. I'm a human.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
I just thought. I mean, usually it goes in this order, but that's fine.
I made this for you. I made you.
It's a carving of lettuce.
It is a carving of letters, yes, on top. But if you look underneath, there's a model of a car. It's just a lettuce on a car. I made it all for you. I know you like it. You know, little Lego cars and everything, but I thought I'd make something.
You've never once gotten me a birthday present. And now you got me.
I wanted so much, but that's the guy. He was always in the way. You know,
More than I
pushing.
can't drive because you know I'm afraid of cars.
Fast forward back to present day, waiting in a time machine.
Oh god, there's another space tech.
Well, what are you going to do about it, Jonathan?
I'm just the maintenance. I'm not here to maintain space-time.
Excuse me, what year is this?
Who are you?
This thing is messing up the canteen. Can you move it, please?
Oh, sorry. Okay, it's got some wheels. Let me just push it.
Watch. We're going to be careful with this. Health and safety, you know.
The whole university is just going to pop.
What's going on with the university? It's all falling apart.
Yeah.
What is he?
We lost our funding.
It's just never been the same since that horrible time experiment.
Cut to the new dean. Professor Dickweed?
Yeah, Dickweed, Smithers, and fucking I'm gonna be honest, yeah.
Hey, so I was wondering if you could sit down. These are your office hours, right?
Yeah, these are my office hours, yeah.
Fantastic. I was wondering if I could talk to you about my scholarship.
Of course, yeah, go on, take a pew.
A pew?
Yeah, you sit on the floor, I stand, it's an authority thing.
Okay. Sir, when I first enrolled here, I was told that I was going to be studying all sorts of sciences that I never had been introduced to before.
Yeah?
But now instead we're taking field trips down to the canteen.
Yeah.
And I don't quite understand.
Because the canteen is a tear through space and time.
But that's where we're supposed to have hamburgers.
Yeah. Where do you think the hamburger meat comes from?
Where?
Are you any closer to re-entering the space tear?
I want to get there. I just need to find her.
But that's maybe where she is. Look, maybe. The janitors have finished the equation. Z doesn't equal X. There's a recurring sigma phi mu on the end there. Which
17th dimension.
Name them.
It's not.
The first 15 were established. 16 is charisma. But 17, well, it's up to us to name it.
Across the hall in the maintenance office. I think it is faith.
Faith?
You've got to have faith in yourself.
You mean fate?
Guys, it's love.
Alright, Deirdre, I'll have your apple tea. Right, okay.
It's a lovely day now that that horrible, horrible boy has been expelled. God praises all. Aren't you happy for me, Malcolm?
I'm so happy for you, Deirdre. I'm so happy I wish you were dead.
Malcolm!
What?
Malcolm!
Yes? Dearest?
I sense a lack of faith in you. Is there something that you would like to tell me?
Yes. I cheated when we played Scrabble last night.
This is all we need. Love.
Yeah, told you.
Love is the answer. Charlie.
Yes.
That's enough for you,
You know
to
what?
journey through the space
I
tear.
am going to do it. I'm going to do it. I know what the dimension is. Yes. I shall do it. I shall do it.
But before you go in, we need to tie something to you so we can pull you back if you find her.
A string.
String on the bottom of that man's foot. There's a piece of string.
I don't want to touch that.
let me bring the machine back in.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll just tie this up to.
Well, tie it to that chair.
Yeah, I've done it. It's fine.
That doesn't look very secure to me.
I want to come back, you know. I want to come back.
Have you been on that health and safety course? Right.
I want to come back. Okay.
We've got you.
I'm doing it.
Tug the rope twice, and we'll pull you back.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in the black hole.
So I mean the hole's been there a while. I think we should just go.
Who is this? Who is it? Who is it? Is that you?
Wow, you made it back through the black hole. it! But that's crazy! We made it out and down again! This is all a bit much.
I need a tug. I need a tug now.
I'm in so many places at once!
Yes! There are 17 dimensions.
Look, there's something I'm trying to tell you.
We need to get to the...
I'm waiting for 2 tugs.
Look,
I think you just had 1 tug.
I've been here a really long time, and there's this super hot space prince that's been working out for fun.
No!
And like,
No!
he's got a light. I don't need saving. That's the thing.
You want to stay
know?
here?
And like, I'm
you want
having
to stay
fun.
here?
Yeah.
Is it tea break time yet?
Okay.
Almost.
Okay. You know what? Just if that's what makes you happy, then I just have to leave.
Well,
We're
okay.
not authorised for overtime.
Should we just
Let's drop. I need
I'm
to go.
sorry.
Give it a minute.
It's just that.
You just can't wait.
Okay. It's just that the 17th dimension exists right here.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay. I've got to get back. I've got to get back. I've been searching for you all my life, but obviously.
Okay, let's go.
I got
You Oh, he's stuck here now.
Right. Okay.
This got weird.
Okay. Okay. I'm moving now. I'm moving. I'm moving.